The following is a production of WHRO and our Center for Regional Citizenship, made possible by the generous support of the Obici Healthcare Foundation. For over 60 years, the Obici name has been synonymous with community, good health, and well-being.
Well, I'm finished with my poster. Are we supposed to take it down when we're done?
I just wrote this message, like, people make fun of my weight, but I ignore them.
Things that I wrote about that I can't do, like from being in clubs at school and from running fast, from swinging high, from playing outside.
Boy, those are angry eyebrows. I see that. What do you do when you get mad? You break stuff?
Well, what I drew is a girl crying because a boy is saying that she looks like a pig. People joke me, I either ignore them or I just joke back, but it still makes me sad. I just want people to know how it makes me feel.
It's not what's in the outside, it's what's in the inside. I mean, I'm still a person, right?
Right.
The epidemic of obesity is more rightfully called a pandemic of obesity, which means it's everywhere.
Right now in Virginia, our numbers are we're seeing 5, 10, 15% increase year over year in overall obesity. In fact, our most recent statistics, close to 25% of the population in Virginia is considered obese.
The issue of childhood obesity is a colossal risk for our country, for our Commonwealth, for our future and our children. And trying to reverse this trend of obesity is going to be a huge challenge before us.
The obesity epidemic and what exactly caused it is pretty tough. And I call it the don't you just think syndrome. Don't try to just blame it on one thing. Vending machines didn't cause the obesity epidemic. Fast food didn't cause the obesity epidemic. Kind of a perfect storm brewed over the past 20 to 30 years. Americans became busier, which led us to eat out a little bit more, which led to a bigger demand for fast food. So more fast foods restaurants were being built. We turned into a society of convenience due to technology advances.
The easiest thing to be said about the current epidemic of overweight and obesity in the United States is that it's not genetic. These genes were present in the population all the way along. What's happened in the last 20 to 30 years is that the way we live, the way we work, the way we eat, the way we play has changed. There's been a decline in physical education programs. There's been a decline in neighborhood safety, so parents don't feel free to just let their children out the door to play after school. The design of our communities is different. They're sprawling now rather than concentrated. Children can't walk to school. Families tend to eat out or rely on food outside of the home for 50% of meals. The availability of food, the price of food, the consumption of food has changed, and so has the opportunities for activity.
It's been said, and I hope it's certainly not true, that this could be the first generation children today to have a shorter lifespan than what their parents have. We're seeing more chronic disease in children and then ultimately in young adults, particularly around the issue of heart disease appearing at a younger age.
There was a study done several years ago that looked at the quality of life in children who are overweight. And in comparing it to other children who have either healthy or have diseases, they said that what they found was that children who are overweight had the same quality of life, if not worse, than children with cancer. And these children have a quality of life that's equal to that because of teasing, because of what people think about them. Kids, they make up rumors about overweight kids, call them dirty and messy. So it's not only affecting their physical health, but their emotional health.
If we don't stem this tide of childhood obesity, we're going to have a group of young adults who have this problem of being overweight. And being overweight then leads to the tandem problems of high blood pressure and diabetes.
This problem can only be solved by changes in the environment that surround us and surround our children. We need to change the way we live in our work sites, in our schools and communities. We need to make healthier choices of food more readily available and more competitive with less healthy choices of food. And we need to take every opportunity that we can to restore physical activity as part of everyday life.
Ready? Tony Chestnut, no.
A system like education's been around for a very long time. So to even think that we could swoop in, make big changes overnight, and expect all kids to be healthier, families to be practicing these changes is not realistic. If there were a pill or a potion, somebody would have given it to us by now, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. It can be changes in how things are done in the classroom, so that it's fun and simple, and the kids get to hear the message, they see the message, and they practice doing it. It's skill building. It's lifestyle change. So,
yes, Ms. Holland's math class. We are going to go out into the core today and work on rounding to the closest 100. My job is to basically incorporate fitness activities or movement activities, kinesthetic learning into the core classrooms. Math, science, social studies, and language arts. And I look at those activities, I look at the SOLs, which are standards of learning for Virginia, and then I come up with an activity that a teacher might do on paper that I can try to take and put movement to it. Okay, go circle around the room outside the Frisbees. Okay, all the way around the room. Okay, we're rounding. Very good. I'm glad that you noticed that. I felt like as a PE teacher, I was always trying to incorporate language arts and social studies and math into my lessons. And I was thinking, well, wouldn't it be great if the math teachers and the language arts teachers would incorporate some physical activities into their lessons? Not necessarily going out and playing a soccer game or, you know, throwing Frisbees, but doing something movement-oriented in their classroom. All right, so we're going to be jumping, picking up one number at a time, and jumping to the correct Frisbee. Go! Jump! Pick up one, and jump. How can they incorporate some locomotor skills, especially at elementary school, hopping, skipping, jumping, galloping, leaping, those things, you know, into their lessons where the kids could practice those movements that they need for success in movement class and up into the middle schools. Jumping, jumping, come on, get that heart rate up a little bit. Take that one, you know it. You told me what rounds up and what doesn't. You're right. Good job. Okay, 200, good, go find it. It's a rounding activity where if on a piece of paper it had all these and you had to round, you know, 150, does it go to 200 or 100? Instead of sitting there and circling, you know, 200, you'd actually take and move it and put it there. And that way your kids who learn kinesthetically might be more apt to remember that come SOL time because they physically did it, instead of just like circling numbers as they go down a worksheet. Let's check it out. Does 555 belong?
Yes.
Does 577 belong?
Yes.
Does 599 belong?
Yes.
566?
Yes.
588?
Yes.
607?
No. Yes.
Who thinks they for sure know?
Oh,
okay, what do you think?
Yeah.
Easy and simple, that's for the implementers. If it's not easy and simple, nobody has time to make a change.
Your body's the globe. Show me your North Pole. Show me the North Pole. Show me the South Pole.
So it's a start where you are approach. It's not a you have to. It's not about good foods, bad foods. It's not about you're a bad person if you don't get up and walk 7 days a week and take a mile run. But it's about where am I today and what small things can I do for myself that can make a healthy difference over time.
There's obviously certain medical leaders in the community that can take center stage. The Children's Hospital, the King's Daughters, has a long-standing effort in combating childhood obesity and is now stepping to the table with more ideas and more concepts. At the same time, our partner in Eastern Virginia Medical School has put childhood obesity as a #1 research focus out of 4. Having that kind of collaboration, working together to combat this problem will yield results. But these two facilities alone aren't going to make the difference. It's going to have to be a community collaboration.
You know, we didn't get this way overnight, and these are not easy solutions. It's also easier, I think, to start with children.
This is not a finger-pointing exercise where we point to the parents. This is a problem of our culture. It's a phenomenon of the culture of abundance.
To get children and their families motivated around increasing physical activity, looking at nutrition, making nutrition more of a public information item. But it will take everyone pulling together to get that done.
North America Europe, Asia, Africa, Africa, South America, Australia, Antarctica, Antarctica. So you just showed me all of the continents if your body were a globe.